everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is, what day is it today? It's Wednesday morning, and good to see you all. Hope it's been a good week. Happy Wednesday. If you are joining us on the replay, hello, everybody. If you don't know who I am, or you're joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Joanna Intara, and my work is empowering couples to thrive in relationship with soul. And we have been diving in really deep this week to the subject of love and how that works in relationship, how to cultivate it, how to grow it, and most importantly, how to get it back even if you feel like you haven't been having it for a long time. And, I just want to share a little bit about my journey with this. Some of you know that I am married, have been together with my beloved for, I think it will be 16 years this year. So as you can imagine, there's been a really deep journey with love, sex, closeness, intimacy, and then, of course, throwing children into the mix of that is a huge deal. And there are definitely times where love has been tested. The capacity to love has been tested. The capacity to open up to love has been tested. And to be really honest with you, I haven't always had the tools or resources both to be loving in the places where it was really required, but also to open up to love as well, and to live in love so that I could be happy, so that I could experience the closeness that I desire and the intimacy and the hot sex and the connection. So if you're listening, if you could say hello or give me a heart so I know you're here. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody else out there who has also experienced what it's like to truly not know how to do love really well, how to do love relationship, how to open up to love and how to receive love and how to give love. And I myself, really took myself to be a person who was loving. I have that identity. And I do have a lot of love in my heart. And I do love to love. And I do love to share love as well. And yet there were still times and continue at moments, because I'm a human and because I have conditioning just like you. Conditioning meaning, how I was taught around love, how I was trained around love. How I learned to open up to love or how I learned not to open up to love. And there are still places where this gets worked out. It's not as challenging as it used to be, but there are more and more subtle places. So I'm just wondering if there's anybody else out there like me who has ever been challenged on how to love or how to open up to love, or how to give love, or how to receive love. All the things that are really, really important when you're wanting to cultivate a relationship of hot sex, love, and closeness is a really important ingredient. And it was really hard, that journey, to learn how to do that. But I do want to share that I know what it feels like, when you're not having that experience of feeling like you're living in true love. And I really say true love as differentiated from romantic love, because romantic love is that love that we have when we're first dating somebody. It's full of a cocktail of hormones, serotonin, testosterone, cortisol. I know there's one other one in there that I'm forgetting at the moment. And that's really different. That's romantic love. And our brain can only sustain that for about a year, maybe 18 months at the most. And then what happens is that all the power struggle stuff starts to come up. And we have a journey to commit to the consciousness work that is required of us so that we can arrive in the land of true love. And when you're going through that stage where you're not sure if you're living in love, you can feel like, God, am I doing the right thing? Or, you can feel hopeless, or you can feel powerless, or you can feel like you wonder, what the hell you're doing, or is this really worth it? Do I feel nourished without this love? Especially when you have children, because I work a lot with parents who are dealing with the issues of hot sex, love, and closeness, especially when it comes to children. When you're not feeling like you're living in love, it can feel depressing. You can feel anxiety, there's a lot of feeling of insecurity, and then it becomes this question, like that is really, really painful to live like that. It is really hard to not be feeling like you're living in true love. It hurts. It can feel really hurtful and overwhelming and like mentally confusing too, because it brings up all these thoughts of like, well, if I'm not experiencing love, is this going on? Is that going on? So I'm just wondering, what you've experienced when it comes to that power struggle stage where you're not in the romantic love stage anymore and you're trying to figure out the work to do. And then there's the issue of, is there love happening here, or what is actually going on? And so I just wanted to acknowledge that, because not having that can be really, really painful. It can make you wonder. It can make you go, how can I get this back? It can make you start strategizing. It can make you dig deep into your soul to look at your relationship to love. And that is really, really hard. And I've lived all those things. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one. I'd love to hear if you've ever experienced what it's like to be in love and then to suddenly not feel the love the same way that you used to, or to wonder what's happened to the love, or similar. So if that's been you, I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. And then just to dive into some of the things that I want to share with you today that you can do to start to live in true love, especially if you haven't been having it for a while, especially if you feel like the love is kind of left temporarily, especially if you feel like maybe there's something wrong. I want to just caution you to to not go there, and to tell you some of the things that you can do in order to get it back. So the first thing is just to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing how to do that. I think so often we blame ourselves for not knowing how to do things in relationship. And I know I talk about this a lot. I talk about it on the podcast. I share it with my clients, that I think we really have to forgive ourselves and have compassion and tenderness for the fact that, when we are in relationship with somebody, we are learning all the time. We are learning how to do conflict. We are learning how to communicate clearly. We are learning how to forgive. We are learning how to have compassion for ourselves. And we're also learning both how to give love and receive love. Give love in the way that the other person asks for, depending upon their love language, but also learning how to receive love as well, how to open up to love. And for many of us who, like myself, didn't get the opportunity to cultivate love in a really good way growing up, or maybe there was complications with learning how to do love growing up, or there were strings attached, or there was any kind of manipulation involved, or anything that felt unclean love, or even anything that had to do with codependent, kind of not real love, but was mistaken to be love. In the process of relationship, we are untangling all that. We are learning how to do it correctly. We are learning how to have love be really true. We are learning how to give and receive love. And if we don't know how to do it, it's not anybody's fault. It's not our fault. It's not our partner's fault. But it is our responsibility to repair it and to heal it and to learn how to really forgive ourselves for not knowing how to do that. So that's the first thing I really want to mention that you can do. The second thing that you can do, and this is a few parts of this, is to create the conditions that create love. So love, from what I've observed in 30,000 hours and 30 years of working with clients and couples and people dealing with intimacy, love, relationship, closeness, and sexuality issues, is that love comes from a few qualities here that I'll mention. So if you can learn how to create the conditions that create love, then you will be able to receive love. So the first condition is to create the condition of openness. Learning how to be open, opening to yourself, opening to your partner, opening to all the parts that ask for our attention. The second thing is to be creating compassion. The third is to be creating tenderness. The fourth is to be creating the opportunity and the space for creative conversation and creative connection to happen open and creative problem solving. The fifth is to have an environment of non-defense. So I know that those are just some of those, but if you can create those, if you can create openness, and you can work on creating compassion, and you can work on creating tenderness, and you can work on having creativity and non-defense, when you create those are naturally different expressions of love. And so when you have creativity, when you have openness, when you have presence with each other, when you have non-defense, when you have tenderness, those are gateways to experiencing love. And so that is something also that you can do so that you can actually have the experience of the love that you desire. And of course, there are many more things that you can add to that. So if there are other things that you think you can do to create love, or other things that have worked for you, I'm wondering what you've noticed. If you would share that in the chat window, that way we can benefit from your experience. It'd be great to know what has helped you so that it can help us as well. So the third thing that you can do to create more love in your relationship and partnership is to be really committed to loving yourself, to be really committed to opening your heart to yourself, opening your heart to your parts, opening your heart to your challenges, opening your own heart to, the moments that feel difficult, opening your own heart to the places especially that feel really difficult or really edgy for you. And hello, everybody on Instagram, also broadcasting here on Instagram. When you're loving to yourself, you're going to also be creating in the interpersonal field a field and a frequency of loving the other person as well. And that is a huge, wonderful thing that you can do. It's not easy to do. There can be moments when we encounter things in ourselves that we don't want to love, or we don't want to open to, or we don't want to accept. And so often that can be a mirror to, how we relate to our partner as well. So that is definitely something else you can do straight away to start creating more love in your relationship. The next thing you can do to create more love so that you can have more of the hot sex, love, and closeness that you desire. And it's funny because I just noticed I'm holding my heart today because we were really in the love place, and it actually goes along really well with this next point that I want to make, which is to commit to radical care in your interactions with each other and with yourself. So what do I mean by that? When you have interactions with your beloved, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, or partners, when you commit to radical care is being wholly committed, W-H-O-L-L-Y, committed, that means in a whole way, or it could be wholly, H-O-L-Y as well. But in either case, when you are deeply and wholly committed to radical care, to truly bringing your whole heart of care, this is your person. And if there's an interaction that's difficult or edgy, or has one person feeling sad, or one person feeling anxious, or one person feeling insecure, or even one person feeling triggered, which is going to happen, when you commit to bringing an attitude of radical care, really deeply in your whole heart, in your whole body, in your mind, with every resource that you have, being able to be caring to that other person, to the interaction, to the challenges that are in front of you, what you will notice happen is that the amount of love, the feeling of love, the frequency of love will increase a lot. There will be so much more openness. There will be, actually what that does is that ability to commit to radical care in the interactions, especially when they're difficult, including with yourself and each other, but also with yourself as primary. You're actually going back to the second thing I mentioned, which is actually to create the conditions that create love. So when you're committing to radical care, you're actually creating the conditions that create love. And so if you just let that sink in for a moment, there's so much that you can do. Excuse me. There's so much that you can do to create love, connection, creativity, compassion, tenderness, openness, non-defense, and also radical care. That is a beautiful thing you can do. It creates such, I know for me, when I experience my partner really embodying an attitude of radical care and vice versa, the amount of love and the amount of care and the amount of creativity just magnify and grow. What's the word I'm looking for? They just multiply, maybe that's the right word. And so what happens is that the environment of love grows rapidly. It's palpable, it's visceral. I can feel it in my heart just tuning into it now. There's just like this gooey warmth in my heart that I love feeling so much in a connection with my beloved. And I'm very clear that it starts with me. So commitment to radical care, being really loving to yourself no matter what comes up, making self-love the non-negotiable crown jewel ally of your interactions. Because when you're an environment of love inside, when you hold, I really believe when you hold an environment of love inside, what happens is that that's the frequency that then becomes part of the interpersonal field that you have with each other. And that's really, really beautiful. And the fifth thing that you can do, I think I've added an extra one here, so I think there's actually 6, but the fifth thing that you can do is to really feel into your heart. And when I say that, I don't mean it in some esoteric sense. I've had my hand on my heart this entire live stream, and it's felt really, really good. But what I'm actually saying is when you're communicating, when you are talking with each other, when you are connecting with each other, when you're dealing with something that's difficult, when you're dealing with something that's hard or something that may be triggering, actually feeling into your heart, feeling the space inside, taking all of your consciousness that's up here, your intention, we can place that anywhere. That's the beautiful gift of being a sentient human being, meaning like having consciousness. When you can take that consciousness, you can take that attention, you can take that focus and that awareness, and you can literally bring it, okay, I'm going to bring it right into my heart. I'm going to feel the space inside my heart. I'm going to feel this chamber, and then I'm going to feel this chamber. To literally put our attention inside our own heart, it shifts our attention away from the world of mind and thoughts and the dangerous things that can happen in difficult interactions, for example, like criticism and blame and judgment and attribution. It's really hard to do all those things, which are the things that lead to widespread disconnection in couples when our attention is focused right inside our own heart. I actually would love for you to try it so that you can really see what I'm talking about, or maybe in your next interaction with your beloved that's anything less than what you would like, to actually put your attention there. And sometimes I actually like to do that and not let my attention leave my heart as I'm saying the words to my partner, to my beloved, especially if they're difficult. I find that it slows things down. I find that it makes my speech different. I find that it makes my words more caring, more impactful, and definitely more heartfelt. And all of that has the impact of really and deeply, truly growing love and creating a real kind of love that's sustainable, the kind that I think that you want and that you deserve. So I'll just summarize those again. Forgiving yourself for not having the compassion or tenderness, the love that maybe you'd like when the interactions are difficult, to create the conditions that create love, openness, compassion, tenderness, creativity, non-defense, to be deeply loving towards yourself, to commit to radical care in all your interactions with each other and with yourself, and to feel into your heart, feel the space inside with each chamber, as you're talking to your beloved, as you're talking to yourself, so that anything that comes from the mind that may be destructive or difficult has a chance to go away and actually not happen. Hello and welcome. Hey, Alex Christensen, thanks for joining. So we've just been talking about the things you can actually do straight away to create more love in your relationship, your partnerships, if you have more than one. So that you can actually have the love that you desire. And, the impact that doing this work actually has on your relationship is so profound. You will literally shift the frequency of how you relate to each other. You will literally shift how you feel about each other. You will literally shift your speech and how you talk with each other. You will shift a difficult interaction to being one that's more loving. You will shift challenging moments or moments of feeling triggered to ones that are imbued and filled with a whole lot more care and love and support, all the things that you want, all the things that you desire to receive and return. So I'm wondering who is willing to give this a shot this week and tell me what you find out. Yeah, that would be really great to know that. And you'll have more closeness because you won't be in defense. You will have more intimacy because you will be loving and tender and compassionate with all your parts. And this is so exciting, you know, because frequency of love and connection can not only change your relationship and your partnership, it can resolve old hurts, it can release judgment, it can make your family feel more connected when you're dealing with kids. It also, even non-verbally, without saying anything to your children, it models for them how to do love and embody that in connection with each other, because they're of course following your example and acting that out at any moment. And I'm wondering if any of you have noticed the impact of when your interactions are more love and what impact that has on your household, you know, what impact that has on your children. So feel free to let me know that. And also feel free to you know, let me know if you have any questions about this or how to apply this. These are 5 things that you can do straight away in order to turn up the love big time in your relationship so that you can have more of the hot sex and closeness and love that you desire and that you deserve. And if you're, you know, wondering how to do this or wondering how to apply it even more deeply, I know without a doubt and believe so deeply that this actually will transform your partnership. I know that when you practice this and when you can make a commitment to doing that, and when your partner is on board with you, or even if they're not, even if it's just coming from one person, it will change the relationship. And I believe that you get to have that. And I also believe that you can embody that and you're able to do that. And without a doubt, I know I can also help you to do that as well. Would love to bring in 1 or 2 more clients into my private work right now. I have that space available and would love to chat with you more about that. So if you're interested and would like my loving support and guidance and wisdom to help you on that end, you can reach out to me at the link below, free call with Joanna. And yeah, I will be answering more questions after this live stream is over. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure. I look forward to hearing more from you and to talking with you all soon. Have a great Wednesday. Bye.